I want to see if I can change your relationship with trends because if you're like most men, you don't love them. At best, you're kind of like leery of them and a little bit exhausted. And at worst, you're super antagonistic and think that they're vacuous and stupid and dumb. But we're also all subject to them because what was trendy at one point becomes standard and mainstream, and then it becomes expected, and then a new trend starts again. I mean, as much as I love what Norman Rockwell used to wear, this doesn't work today. This feels like a costume. So not only would it look like a costume to other people, but it would feel like a costume if I were to put this on. And I think one of the biggest reasons why we resent them so much is because they've been stripped of their meaning. And I do believe that at some point trends did have, and in the future can have, actual meaning attached to them. Now, the ways that they've been stripped of their meaning are actually pretty interesting. The film Fight Club covers this really well. The narrator lives this empty, vacuous life, and one of the ways that he tries to develop a sense of identity and also a sense of belonging is purely just by consumption. He buys the right IKEA furniture, he buys the right khakis, and it's this idea of I can outsource my identity creation to somebody else who is a tastemaker or an influencer or somebody else, and then I can just purchase it, and therefore I'm going to have meaning and purpose and a sense of self. And that coincides strongly with the second problem, and it's this idea that most trends today are driven by the young, and they are the most susceptible to this consumption as identity creation because they don't have an identity that is built on accomplishments or work or a sense of self. And so they're more susceptible again to where if I have the right political ideologies, or I listen to the right music, or I consume the right products, or I follow the right influencers, that somehow I am going to have a sense of self. And this is who we are allowing to drive and create culture. So at some point, when you're still dressing the same way that you did, it doesn't look like you are being classic. It looks like you're just obtuse and unaware of the fact that the world has changed around you. It's kind of the same thing as still using terms like tubular or righteous or whatever was popular in the 80s, because even that was just rooted in a trend at the time. And whatever you're wearing now is not timeless. It is just something that was trendy at some point and has been around long enough that it was accepted. But being accepted and being timeless are not the same thing. Okay, so what do you do? I think one of the best ways to engage with this is if you do have a strong sense of self, then rather seeing trends and the energy that goes into them as being something that is only participated in by the young or by the insecure, but being a new constraint under which you can figure out, okay, these are the new rules, and how do I still have my sense of self be expressed honestly and congruently and authentically within these new constraints. And if you don't see it as work, because it doesn't have to be work, but you see it as something fun and enjoyable and a way to continue to stay alive as you go through each decade, your whole relationship with trends changes.